Hey guys, Steve Welch here with your fact of the day. So wanted to talk to you guys about Christmas, and when I'm recording this just a couple days after Christmas here, you might have just got a drone, right? And it might be a little tiny one, it might be a big one, it might be somewhere in between. What you need to realize is that there are some laws, regulations, things like that, that even though you're not professional, you're not using your drone to make a living, you might be breaking the law and not even realize it, and you could open yourself up to fines or worse, right? So wanted to go over a couple just basic things for you guys to remember on drone flying, right? So keep in mind that you have to fly it below 400 feet. All right, so your drone might be able to go to 1500 feet or something like that, but unless it's to clear an obstacle. But let's just, for this video, let's just say keep it below 400 feet and you're going to be within the realm in most cases of what would still be legal. So like I said, there's always going to be a couple of like little things where you go, well, what if you get a waiver? Okay, there's waiver things you can do. There's certain things that you have to do to have something be legal. And I'm not trying to get into that, right? So I'm a commercial drone pilot, right? I'm trying to keep this very, very simple and easy for somebody that might not have, you know, taken the Part 107, right? So if you don't have that Part 107, meaning that you're a commercial pilot, remember that you can only fly for your own pleasure. All right, and when I say for your own pleasure, it doesn't mean that you go up and you take some really videos. Like I posted some videos of like the lakes and some really nice videos with my drone. I can post all those, but as soon as you do it for the reason of posting it, you better be commercially certified and licensed with the FAA. So just realize that all these things, most of them have cameras and stuff like that. Realize you can't post those videos on social media or anything like that. Even if you're not paid for it, you can't have taken that video for the reason of posting it. I'm just telling you, that's how the law reads, right? So another thing, keep your drone within sight. There's something that's called beyond visual line of sight. A lot of people really like to want to do that, want to push the limits, use like VR goggles, things like that, and just fly beyond line of sight. Well, it's not legal yet. It probably will be at some point, but it's not legal as of the time of making this video to fly beyond visual line of sight, with very few exceptions, right? So just remember that, right? So another thing, so where I work here, I'm literally in Class C airspace right here. If I take my drone off right here, right now, I've broken the law. Even though I'm commercially certified, if I take my drone off right now, I've broken the law, unless I have an FAA authorization through the LANC system, but an FAA authorization to fly here, to where I've told the FAA everything that I plan to do with my drone. It's remote ID capable. There's a couple of other pieces to that. Like I said, I'm not trying to get into the weeds, but I'm going to tell you that even as a commercial pilot, I legally can't just go, I want to fly right now, let me fly right here. Can't do it, right? Now there are spots to where I can use like the Before You Fly app and stuff like that to kind of know whether or not I'm in an airspace or that, and it can tell me, no, you're good to fly. Just went on vacation recently and I was like, oh, I'm right off the beach here, and there's no airport that's right here. But oddly enough, I was actually within the Class D airspace, and the Before You Fly app really let me know that. So I knew I was close, but I had to look. I was within that airspace. I couldn't legally fly there without authorization. I could have got the authorization, didn't do it, just didn't fly, right? But like I said, I'm just giving you basics here, but you need to realize you can't just fly it wherever and whenever you want. Sounds like you can, but you can't, right? So something else, so that's the thing. Don't fly in restricted airspace, and know how to find out if you're in restricted airspace, all right? The other thing, don't fly near aircraft, especially near airports like we're talking about right here. Just realize, don't fly around another drone usually, right? You guys hit each other and you got issues. Now take a look, see? You can tell where I'm at, right? I'm right next to Nashville International. Aircraft just took off here. So obviously if I'd flown my drone right now, that aircraft's probably about 400 feet above me. So I legally, hey, I can fly 400 feet, right? I could go up to 400 feet and I could have just hit that airplane. So that's why you don't do that, okay? So just realize there's a reason that things are in place. It's not in place to you know, and I've had some people say it's just because of the fun police. They don't want us to have any fun. No, if you hit that airplane, you can take it down. So no, don't fly anywhere near an airplane or anywhere near an airport, right? So, so that being said, the other thing is, don't fly over groups, large gatherings of people. It's not safe, it's not legal, right? So you can fly over some people or somebody that's the focus of something. So if you're taking a video of your kids or something like that, you can fly over those people, but don't fly over a group of people that don't know you're there, right? The other thing is stadiums. They've had issues with the NFL and where they've shut down games because there were drones being flown in the area. It is not legal to fly a drone over an occupied stadium. It doesn't matter if you're licensed or not. You cannot fly it over an occupied stadium. Like I said, there's waivers for things. If you're being paid to fly it over that, then there's probably a provision in there. But remember, there's waivers for stuff. I'm not talking about what commercial people can do. I'm talking about you got it for Christmas. How you going to get yourself in trouble? Don't go flying it over the football game and think that you're good. The high school football game, still not legal, just so you know, right? Don't go flying it over those things. The other thing is emergency response efforts. So if there is a wildfire and you decide to fly it over the wildfire, you never know when a aircraft or a helicopter is going to be coming in with a load of water, something like that. You don't know if there's going to be a police helicopter that's trying to find a suspect or something along those lines. So if it's over an emergency situation or response effort, that's an issue. So here, see, check it out again. You can see how close I am, right? We got Southwest right behind me here, right? So once again, that's probably 400 or 500 feet, right? So even if, and I could exceed that 400 feet with my drone. Just remember that I can exceed it. I can legally exceed it with a waiver, but my drone can fly higher than 400 feet. Doesn't mean it's legal. Just because it can do it, don't mean it's legal. Just remember that, right? The other thing is, don't fly under the influence, right? Don't drink and fly. That's just common sense, but just, I mean, you see people in a backyard, everybody having a beer and somebody flying a drone. You're not legal, right? You crash that thing, it's, you know, there's penalties, trust me, right? So the other thing is, so the one other thing you need to remember is that all national parks are restricted from drone flying, all right? There's a couple of caveats to that. I'm not going to tell you them because you don't need to know that part of it, but there's all federal parks are specifically excluded from drone flying. Now, you can get permission from a park ranger. You won't in a national park, but you can get permission from a park ranger. If you're not commercially certified, you won't. Guaranteed you won't. It's possible, not likely, all right? State parks, as far as I know, every state park is also restricted from drone flying, but you're a little bit more able to get the park ranger to say that you can fly there. That being said, realize that things that have remote ID, some of your DJI drones, stuff like that, they're unlikely to take off just because it's going to sense that you're in a restricted area and not allow you to do that. So what do we got? Looks like we got an Allegiant over here behind us, right? So but just realize that your state parks, your federal parks, most of those things are usually restricted from any kind of drone flights, right? And then obviously, you know, airspace around Washington, D.C., don't even try it, right? But you should also try to stay away from distractions, things like that. Try to, you know, be able to focus on what you're doing and you know, that you're flying the drone. So kind of recouping or recapping a couple things here. You got it for Christmas. Hey, it's a great thing. Learn to fly it. Be cognizant that you need to do it safely, you need to do it legally. Make sure it's below 400 feet, that you can see the drone, you don't fly in restricted airspace or near any other aircraft or airports. Like I said, without authorization, you won't get it if you're just a recreational drone pilot. Don't go over groups of people, stadiums, sporting events, over emergency response efforts, or under the and for a fly under the influence. The other thing to remember too is that in most cases your drone's weight is going to be very important, and so but if it's over the minimum that I just put on the bottom of the screen there, you have to register your drone with the FAA. It costs you $5, very easy to do it, but even if you don't plan on using it commercially or anything like that, you have to register it and mark it with your registration number. So that is also a requirement if you are flying a drone. So like I said, some people do not realize these things, but they are very, very important to know before you just go out and fly that drone that you got for Christmas, or that you have to know these things. And like I said, there's more than just this. I mean, I'm sure I'm leaving something out, but and put it in the comments if you guys have anything else you want to add. But just make sure that you're not just out there flying a drone just because you got one. It's not like a little remote control car, right? And just because it can fly doesn't mean it should. So basics of what you should do if you got a drone for Christmas, and what you should know, and just make sure that that you understand it. Don't fly for anything other than your own pleasure, even if you're doing it for free, just because it's not legal. All right, so and look into getting commercially licensed, and if you want to do something more than that, but definitely make sure you do things safely, and you kind of go from there. But Steve Welch with your fact of the day on drones, and if you got one for Christmas, enjoy it, but definitely do it safely, and even more important, legally. But we'll talk to you guys later. Steve Welch, fact of the day. Guys, have a good day. Bye.